this story is about a dear friend of mine who is living life with a mental illness. He is a wonderful human being. Love him to death. And I happened to be in the car with him when he was going through an episode related to his illness. So I don't know if you guys know, but 1 in 5 people deal with a life-changing mental illness. So I'm not sure how many people are in this room right now, but that's about 20% of us. And even outside of that, every one of those beloved people has friends, family, loved ones around them who are walking through that with them. And it's something that can be really hard to talk about, and it's something that can be really easy to talk about unkindly or flippantly, and to not give it the proper respect and care and gentleness that it deserves. So I was with my friend. We were in the car driving to a worship night, and he's in the driver's seat. And this friend has manic depression, and I didn't know that at the time, and he was in the middle of a manic episode. So if you don't know what that looks like, it just means a lot of hyperactivity, racing thoughts, that kind of thing. And it was a very scary ride for the rest of us in the car because we had no idea what's going on. Our friend was just acting very out of character for himself, and there were a lot of questions about like what's happening here, but also I think everybody in the car was fearing a little bit for their safety, and it was just a very, very confusing experience. And then on our drive back, we had somebody else in the driver's seat, and anyway, took him back to his car and like said goodnight. The next morning found out that he had been dealing with this part of his life for a long time, and he shared that with us and also knew that something was going on, and he checked himself into a hospital to get the help that he needed. And I'm happy to say that this friend is doing extremely well right now, and is living a full life, and he's just wonderful. But anyway, when I went home that night, I had a lot of questions. Questions about, first of all, what the heck just happened? Second of all, how do I talk to this person? Do I talk to them about it? Do I just pretend nothing happened? Can I ask questions about what that was like for him? Or maybe it's not my place to ask any questions. When I see him again, how can I encourage him and let him know it's okay? Some of the things that he said and that he did were extremely out of character for him, and I know that he is a man of God and somebody who loves Jesus, and so I was like, how do I reconcile what I saw and what I heard from him that day and the beliefs that this person professes? And that's a really difficult tension to live in the middle of. And then also, how do I address this situation with other friends who I know are going to ask questions when they hear that, this friend has left town or that he is seeking help for certain things? And do I explain? Do I step in and advocate for him? Or do I keep my mouth shut because it's honestly his story and not mine? So anyway, all of this is swarming around my head. And so as a person who has chosen an extremely unique, creative outlet of songwriting that I know absolutely nobody else does, I said to myself, well, maybe we can work this out in song. So I wrote this song. It's called Old Sharon. And is anyone familiar with Sharon or Karen or Caron? Anyone heard that? Yeah?
I just want to let you know that there's a tuner in my bag.
Oh my gosh,
Snark
yes.
tuners, thanks.
I love snark tuners.
Shout out to Allison Kerr, am I right?
Yeah, you are.
She knows that she's music therapy.
Yeah. Perfect. Thank you so much for that. So, Old Sharon is from Greek mythology, and he is the ferryman. So, if you're familiar with Haiti as the underworld, there's only one way to get there, and it's by crossing the river Styx. And so in Greek mythology, in order to cross the river Styx, you go down into you first go through the gates of hell, and there's this river there. You stand at the bank, and you wait for the ferryman. And he hops on his boat, and he paddles over to you. And in order to actually get in and go to the other side, you have to pay a toll. And so there's, a certain price that you have to hand him. And if you, give him the right amount and in the right form of payment, you get in his boat, you go to the other side, and that's it. You don't come back. And so that imagery, that storyline is very evident in Greek mythology, not so much relevant to Christianity, but as I was writing this song, that just seemed like the best picture that I could come up with to explain what was going on. And then in the bridge section of the song, there's this third character that I'm singing out to, and it's the idea that there's somebody else out there perhaps that could maybe take my place or pay this toll in my stead. And I'm basically just begging for that rescue. So anyway, I explain that because once I get into the song, if you're not familiar with the imagery / I start singing things with a weird accent and you don't know what I'm saying, that's the storyline. Will you find me here, where a river Styx is snatching at my soul? Will you throw me a rope and shout my name at the top of your lungs before I drift down the river with old Sharon? Before the ferryman has found me, and he demands that I pay what he is owed, for then he will have the right to bind up my hands and feet and take me away, should I pay the toll. When I reach the bottom of the valley of this shadow of death, I found a chasm of water, and it shimmered with the blackest of black, and nobody warned me not to drink, not to strip down to skin and soak. So now I drift down the river with old Sharon. Oh, the ferryman has found me, and he demands that I pay what he is owed, for then he will have the right to bind up my hands and feet and take me away, should I pay the toll. Will you rescue me like Hercules? I'm a damsel in distress. Will you comfort me despite adversity? For the gates of death themselves are wont to swallow me and shut me up for my guilt's red hot like hell. Will you pay the toll with your very blood, the currency of love? My wretched heart you'll receive in exchange for the nastiest night full of lashings fashioned for the guilty one. That is me. You'll be bearing the weight I deserve, to be crushed beneath. Oh, but I heard if anyone could take my place, it was you. If anyone could take my place, it was you. Could take my place, it was you. Oh, the ferryman is wanting for me. Blood must be shed to save my soul, and if it's your flesh to be bled, he will bind up your hands and feet and take you away. He'll take you away. Should you pay